A lot of people today talking about Starbucks, the situation around a restaurant there. It really escalated today in Philadelphia with protesters effectively shutting down the store and chanting that Starbucks is anti-black. Now, while this incident sparked a lot of anger, there is a lot of good that's already coming out of this. And I want to take a moment to highlight that and how it relates to you. And this is part of a segment here on Take 5 that we call the Deep Dive. It is where we go beyond the headlines to dive deeper into the nuances of an issue. So for this Starbucks story, there are 3 things I want to point out that are evidence that we as a community might end up being better for this. One has to do with speaking up. This is the woman whose video of the arrest has been shared 4 million times, Melissa DePino. She saw what was happening and started recording. She even tweeted to Starbucks. And what she saw is the video here. 2 men being arrested for trespassing after they hadn't purchased anything and refused to leave. They said at the time they were waiting for a friend. Ever since on Twitter, she hasn't asked of anyone willing to listen. I wanted to show you the tweet. Here it is. Ever since I posted this, I've had white strangers and friends say there must be something more to this story. That assumption is a big part of the problem. It does happen all the time, just not to you and me. Believe it and speak up. Look, whether it's about racial injustice, bullying, or child abuse, that push to speak up when you see something wrong is a great reminder for us all, don't you think? And it's been retweeted 28,000 times. The second positive sign is that Starbucks has announced plans to train employees in unconscious bias. And here's a clip of the message the CEO, Kevin Johnson, posted on Facebook.
Now, there's been some calls for us to take action on the store manager. I believe that blame is misplaced. In fact, I think the focus of fixing this, I own it. This is a management issue, and I am accountable to ensure we address the policy and the practice and the training that led to this outcome.
And that brings us to the third thing that stands out as a potential game-changing moment. More people are talking about what's called implicit bias or unconscious bias. Basically the idea that you can judge and stereotype without being aware and while having good intentions. There have been a lot of studies on it, but a show here on NBC is a great modern-day example of attempts to avoid that bias. You know that show, The Voice, which is a talent show. They have the blind audition so that they aren't influenced by how a person looks or dresses, only the voice. And I do want to be clear about one thing. I mean, we aren't always able to take a story like this and highlight the good in it. But in this case, because we had a bystander speak up and a company not only accept responsibility, but outlining a plan to implement a change, this is a moment when we can take 5 to acknowledge it and ultimately learn from it.
Right. You know, it's so funny when you said Melissa tweeted about all these white responses saying, I want to know the full side of the story. Right. That's exactly what I thought. I was like, okay, hold on a second. Before I make any kind of judgment, I want to know what the barista was going through. Did she or he feel threatened? What was actually going through that person's mind in order for them to call the police and kick those people out? So I don't know if that makes me you know, racist by any means. I just want to know the full story, and that's my own personal perspective. But with this being said, I really like the fact that so many of us have a voice now. Everybody's standing up. Kids, women. It's making our world more transparent, which is going to make everything so much better in the long run. And so I think social media is helping in that aspect of it, because you can get the video, you can get it out there and say, this is what I saw, and this is, you know, this is racial injustice, or, well, the whole story's not there, this is what I saw. So that's just what's going on through my mind too.
Yeah, well, I feel like I just had a sermon. Amen. That was good.
It's not racist to want to know the whole
It's human. It's human. And she's just saying it is unbelievable, but there's also a part of it that's like, no, we need to recognize this is happening to people. And I know we're short on time, but I will add, I remember less than a year ago, I was in a neighborhood to return a friend's phone. She had left it at my mom's house. And I get out of the car, and this couple, they come up to me and say, what are you doing in my neighborhood? And I'm like, I'm just returning my friend's phone. And they chased me to the car. Oh, I'm so serious. And I was like, no, I'm just trying to return my friend's phone. And they were like, get out of our neighborhood. I know what you're doing here. I mean, and this was just a year ago.
Ignorance is a lot.
So I mean, it does happen, but I understand the need to know more, and we should have both. We can be able to hold both.
Oh my God!
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to shock you.
I feel so sorry.
Well, there are many stories like that, you know, and it's like, no, I'm a journalist. Anyway.